I thought I was done exposing CNN tonight, but apparently I'm wrong. CNN had a very racist panel where they cruelly marginalized and categorized an African American man because of his political leanings. For some reason, this was allowed to air and hasn't been removed or striked or censored from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, PayPal. Let's get into it. CNN panel mocks Kanye West as Trump's token N-word. Don Lemon laughs. Now, I'm not going to use the racist term they use here. The N-word, even in this spelling, is highly offensive and should not be used to describe African Americans. But apparently, CNN thinks it's fine to use this derogatory term against an African American man who disagrees with them politically. A CNN panel hosted by Don Lemon took turns lacing into Kanye West on Tuesday evening, joking that his embrace of President Donald Trump has caused him to be tokenized. Several referred to him using the term the N-word. He's an attention whore like the president. He's all of a sudden now the model spokesperson. He's the token N-word of the Trump administration, said CNN contributor Tara Setmeyer. Now, could you imagine if Fox News said this about an African American who supported the Democrats? Could you imagine? Could you imagine if Alex Jones said such a thing? The outrage would be nonstop. Now, here's what's interesting. CNN celebrated Kanye when he tore into President George W. Bush, when he was using his political voice against the right. CNN and the leftists universally, they cheered him. They loved him. He was the greatest thing ever. He was a genius. But as soon as he takes a stand against leftists, well, all of a sudden, he's a problem. And he must be tokenized, he must be marginalized, he must be mocked and cruelly tore into. This is ridiculous, and no one should be taking Kanye West seriously. He clearly has issues. He's already been hospitalized, Tara continued. Not to trivialize mental health issues, but obviously Kanye has taken a turn in a very strange way. Now, Tara, I'm sure, celebrated when Kanye said that President Bush didn't care about black people in Hurricane Katrina. Now, imagine if Fox News had a panel calling Kanye the N-word when he tore into President Bush. Would Fox News even be on the airways? But again, Kanye was espousing the view of leftists at that time, so he was to be celebrated, not mocked. Kanye has left the plantation. He's saying he's an independent man. He's happy about some of the things Trump has done. He's happy about the record low African American unemployment. He's happy about some of the jobs that Trump has brought into predominantly African American areas. And he supports him. He supports him for it. Another former guest, former Congressman Bakari Sellers. Now, this was a congressman. This wasn't just some random Joe off the street. This person, Mr. Sellers, served in the Congress. Now, let's see how this former congressman addresses this African American man, Kanye West, who happens to disagree with him. Kanye West is what happened when N-word people don't read, said former Congressman Sellers. Wow. And we have this now, and now Donald Trump is going to use it and pervert, and he's going to have someone who can stand with him and take pictures. Can you believe this? Can you believe this shit? This is a former congressman who represented the people, and he is mocking Kanye, saying he don't read. Well, maybe Congressman Sellers, maybe Kanye does read. Maybe he's read about the record low unemployment in 49 years. Maybe he's read about the jobs that President Trump has created in African American areas, giving several good, hard-working men and women jobs. Maybe he likes that. Maybe Kanye appreciates how the economy is doing so well under President Trump. Yeah, I know this is crazy. I know in the leftist world it sounds like I'm drinking crazy juice here, but I mean, let's just pretend. Maybe Kanye checks some of that out. Maybe he likes it. Maybe he appreciates it. Let's see what Mr. Lemon did. Throughout the bit, Lemon laughed along and joked about the expression, talking about the N-word, describing Kanye, of another panelist. Meanwhile, CNN contributor Scott Jenkins appeared visibly uncomfortable. Now, let's take a look at Scott. He's the one white guy on the panel. Now, honestly, if I was Scott and I heard these people marginalizing and using such a bigoted term against Kanye, I would have walked away. I would have left the segment. I would have said, I'm not going to be a part of this. But he figures, even though he's white and they're using a bigoted, racist term against an African American, it's okay because we're all leftist. And if it supports the leftist agenda, well, it's okay. You know, it's interesting because Democrats have a long history of marginalizing black people. Long history of talking down to them, insulting them, pretending that they're less than white people. I understand why he seemed uncomfortable, and Scott Jennings, you should have left. Now, I mean, I know you were on live TV, but if it had been me, I would have left. I would have took the mic off and walked away. I wouldn't have took part. I'm just looking at Scott's face, said Lemon, barely getting the words out. Scott's like, wow, okay. I mean, yeah, the poor guy, he's shell-shocked. Like, he literally can't believe what they were saying about Kanye here. Reps for Kanye West and CNN did not immediately respond to a request for comment from The Wrap. The Wrap, CNN, is that like the KKK Wrap? You know, of course, the KKK was formed and founded by the Democrat Party, and they would wrap the white sheets around them. So it's kind of, you know, seeing that you're using such bigoted and racist terms against someone who isn't a leftist, an African American who's not a leftist, it's kind of ironic that you would call your show The Wrap. Let's continue on. During a New Day episode last week, co-host Allison Camerota bluntly suggested Kanye might not be all there. I'm just wondering if it's time to start worrying about Kanye, because he does go on sometimes nonsensical rants. He has taken a break for some stress-related issues, so I'm concerned. Yes, you see, in the leftist mindset, if an African American doesn't go along to the leftist marching orders And if they don't stand with the Democrat Party, you need to be concerned. I mean, come on. It's almost as if Kanye is thinking African Americans can vote for a Republican? African Americans can support Trump? African Americans don't have to walk lockstep with the DNC? Oh my goodness. That's a nonsensical rant, isn't it, Allison? Oh, how dare he? Kanye West has faced intense and withering criticism from fans and allies since making a public embrace of Trump in person and online. How dare he? How fucking dare he? West was known to have been close to the billionaire before his election, and that friendship has endured despite Trump's basement approval ratings among black Americans. You know, actually, Trump's approval amongst African Americans has been going up. He received more African American votes than any Republican presidential candidate in modern history, at least. But here's where West went too far. Here's when the left really came down on him. He dared to go on Saturday Night Live and talk positively about Trump. No. You know, it's like the Democratic plan to take the fathers out of the home and promote welfare. Does anybody know about that? That's the Democratic plan. And he's right. There's actually documents, the DNC talking about this. When they started the welfare state, it took black fathers out of the family. You had women who were just having a bunch of children with no father to help take care of them because they knew the more kids they had, the more welfare that they could collect from the state. This is not what he's saying here. Several prominent African American professors have said the exact same thing. Several prominent African American preachers, churchgoers, pastors have said the exact same thing. Even Obama himself has said that black fathers not staying and living and taking care of their children is a huge plan. A huge problem. It's a huge problem. Even Obama said this is a terrible problem in the black community. But of course, when Kanye said it, he received jeers and boos and derision and bullying from the SNL crowd and the actors and actresses on SNL. So many times I talk to a white person about this, and they say to me, this is Kanye talking, "How can you like Trump? He's racist." If I was concerned about racism, I would have moved out of America a long time ago. Kanye brings up a great point. Kanye has been a fantastic success story. He and his family, they're doing quite well. Kanye's associates, they're doing quite well. Kanye showed that you can make anything out of yourself. If you work hard enough and you have the plan and you have a dedication to your craft, to your art, to your work, you can be a success. And I think intelligent African American men like Kanye, they're furious when they see how the Democrats want to keep the African American community in poverty. It's terrible. It's cruel. Even Obama himself has said similar to Kanye here. Of course, if Obama said the same thing about black fathers leaving so many black children alone and not being part of their lives, Obama would be cheered. There would be applause in the SNL crowd. They wouldn't be jeering him. They would be celebrating him. He would be on the front cover of magazines. But Kanye says it, and Kanye dares to support Trump. He left the plantation. He's not in lockstep with the leftists. And well, that can't be tolerated. That cannot be tolerated. This is a message. The leftists want you to know this is the message. African Americans, you do not leave the party. You do not leave the DNC plantation. The DNC owns you. You are not allowed to leave. You are not allowed to think differently. You are not allowed to vote against them. This is the DNC leftist agenda, proudly. And we see this. And it's not just with Kanye. Any African American who dares step away from these leftists get the same treatment. Look at Candace Owens. Look at Anthony Logan. Look at... name an African American who supports Trump, who votes Republican, that doesn't get attacked like this from the media and from the leftist. Find me one. Find me a prominent. Comment down below. This is a prominent African American who supports Trump, and he's not called a house N-word or an Uncle Tom or a coon or whatever horrible terms that leftists use against these individuals who dare step away from the programming, who dare step away from the plantation. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And as I said before, if Alex Jones dared say something like this, what would the ramifications be? If Fox News dared to use the N-word as CNN did here, laughing, even if Fox News, even if Alex Jones had a panel with 3 African Americans and 1 white male, do you think they wouldn't be crucified? Do you think it would be okay? No, it absolutely wouldn't be. But here we can see the double standards. We could see the hypocrisy of the left. It's time to start doing something about it. Let your voice be heard. Comment below. Spread this video. Share it on your social media. It's time to get the word out. This is Leftist Lives Matter, signing out.